Yo, what is up, y'all? My name is Devin, and today I'm going to be talking about how we can use exercise as a form of punishment, even if we don't mean to. Sometimes we show up to the gym and we kind of talk to ourselves like we're pieces of shit. I'm going to be breaking down how you can unlearn that exercise is a way to punish yourself, either for, eating food that necessarily didn't serve you the best, or for not liking your body, or plenty of other reasons why we pretty much try to torture ourselves in the gym, thinking that's the best way that we can go about getting results. But before I get into that, if you are interested in one-on-one coaching, a custom meal plan, or a custom training plan, you can go ahead and check out my website. It's going to be linked down below. And in that website link, you'll also find my high protein cookbook, Healthy Doesn't Suck, as well as my training plan, Mask Made Simple. Now, go ahead and get into the video. You may think to yourself, I don't know if I'm using exercise as a form of punishment. I think I just work out. I don't love it, but I get it done. Here's one super realistic way to assess if you're using exercise as a form of punishment. Do you dread the thought of going to the gym? Does it give you butterflies in your stomach? Does it make your hands sweaty? Does your heart rate increase? If you answered yes to any of those, possibly you don't have the best relationship to exercise. And I know that I talk about relationship to food a lot. As someone who is recovering from an eating disorder, I talk a lot about, not restricting your food intake, not punishing your body and going on binge and restrict cycles. And ultimately, a lot of people, including my former self, use exercise in a very similar mindset. Say for instance, you had a day where it was really tough emotionally. You went to Target, you bought that Talenti like 2018 Devin, you bought those M&Ms, and you just absolutely went to town on all those fun foods, right? So you think, I have to make up for this. Alongside starving yourself, what a lot of people do is go to the gym and just absolutely try to train as hard as possible. Wear 5 layers so that you sweat more, get on the Stairmaster, and then just do a million curls, do a million of different movements on machines just to try to work up a sweat and burn that food off, right? Firstly, if that is your mindset, if you're thinking you're burning food off or making up for some sort of behavior, you are implementing and you're reinforcing the same kind of cycle as binging and restricting with food, but that's what you're doing with your workouts, right? One way that you can make sure that you avoid this kind of pitfall is having a standardized training schedule, right? Training on the same days every single week, training at the same time every single day. That way, not only are you making sure that you're making a routine out of your training, so you're not only going to go to the gym whenever you feel like you're a piece of shit, it's also going to reinforce a better mindset around your food intake, because when you notice that, hey, I starved myself yesterday, I'm showing up to the gym on Monday and I don't have as much energy, you're going to want to feed your body, right? If, say for example, you didn't have the best food intake, you had more fun food than you potentially should have, you show up to the gym and you notice you're burping, you notice that you're feeling indigestion and all those things, your body will let you know what it needs as you go through the workout. And 9 times out of 10, what your body needs is 3 or 4 high protein meals a day. And I did an entire video discussing protein needs for FTM lifters. So if you want to check that out, hopefully I'm not lazy and I'll put it somewhere over here. Your food directly impacts your mental space towards training. If you feel like you even want to show up at the gym the next day, right? I'll be honest, when we get started, exercise might just feel like shit. It might not feel great. Months go by and it's like, you know what, bro, this is like my second home now. And that is the case for some people, not for every single person. Other people just don't feel anxious anymore. And I think that's a W. And I think another very important thing to discuss here is that there is more than one form of exercise, right? So obviously, I, being a bodybuilder bro, I love weightlifting. I like other forms of cardio, treadmill, Stairmaster, elliptical, stuff like that. I love to get my steps outside, especially when it's not disgustingly hot outside, right? I have some people I work with who do pickleball, softball, kickball leagues, rock climbing, running. There are so many different types of activity. If you hate going to the gym, as funny as this may sound coming from me, don't go to the gym. Find something that's moving your body that you feel excited to get to, right? Jiu-jitsu, biking, there's so many different things that you can do. It doesn't just have to be limited to this one thing that you see everybody else does. And who knows, that could be the secret thing that's going to help you entirely transform your body. And I potentially should have started off here, but you really have to think of your intentions. Why are you stepping foot in the gym? Why are you trying to move your body? Why are you taking on this form of exercise? Is it because you love your body? Is it because you want it to be better? Is it because you want to feel better in your headspace and you want to feel confident when you put clothes on? Or is it because you feel like you're a piece of shit? Is it because you feel like, ugh, I fucking hate my body, I hate how weak I feel? How can you expect to feel positive about something if you're speaking to yourself in a negative tone? As woo-woo as this is going to sound, the best way that you can frame things is in a positive light, even if you have to fake it till you make it. When I first started to shift gears on my self-talk and my headspace, I had to pretty much much tell myself, yo, you're a piece of shit, and then kind of put icing on it, kind of glaze over it and be like, actually, Devin, what makes you a piece of shit? What's making you a piece of shit? What are you doing that's so shitty, you know? And I just developed that self-talk, whether it comes from like me consuming alpha male content or like my childhood and stuff like that. You know, after a while of telling myself, you're not a piece of shit, you can do this, you got this, and actually thinking it and actually looking in the mirror and believing in myself, which is something, I'll be real, I'm still really working on. It doesn't feel fake anymore. It feels like I have real intentions with myself. I would never let anybody talk to me the way that I've spoken to myself, and you should feel the same way. And kind of keeping things in the self-talk realm, how do you affirm yourself when you do great on an exercise, or when you do great in hitting a training session, or you got a 2-mile run in, or you went and you had a kickball game, right? How do you pat yourself on the back for that? How do you give yourself that positive reinforcement so that you feel happy to keep showing up? If you're telling yourself, well, fuck, I survived, whatever, I could have done better, but whatever, I just did it, fine, it's over with, now let me go do this other stuff, you're not gonna create a positive habit that way. It's not gonna stick, it's not gonna become a part of your routine, and it's not gonna be something that you get excited about returning to. And ultimately, are you gonna feel happy every single time you work out? Sometimes not, right? You know, I've been training for 6-7 years now. I didn't start to feel really good about it until I was like 1.5 years, 2 years on testosterone. And even now, all these years later, sometimes I have seasons, like 2 or 3 months, where I just don't feel like going to the gym, but it's to the point where it's not even a question, you know? It doesn't matter if I feel like going to the gym, I'm gonna go. Most of the time, by the time I get up in the gym, by the time I warm up, by the time I play some sleep token, I'm there, like it's happening, I'm making gains, so I'm never gonna regret that, right? Pick exercises that you enjoy, play music that you like, find a pre-workout drink that tastes good to you, find some influencers who are, you know, positive, that make you feel good and excited about the future of your game. But you really have to work on how you're framing your physical activity and your exercise, because if you frame it as, fuck man, I have to do this thing, it's not gonna be sustainable. Like, you're not gonna last. You have to work on viewing it from a different perspective. Obviously, we live in a very visual and surface level society where if you see your abs in 6 months, yeah, yippee, you're gonna be hype as hell, right? But is that the case for most of us? No. A lot of people, myself included, have to grind hella hard just to see an inkling of gains. Realistically, if you're only looking at your aesthetics and your appearance as a metric of your progress, you might become a little bit disheartened because it can take a long time. I'm not gonna lie. I've coached so many different people, so many different body types, on testosterone, not on testosterone, just everything that you can think of. But if you enjoy showing up to the gym, if you enjoy the process, if you feel positive about it, you literally will not care. I know people who started training at the same time as me, they're stronger than me, they can lift more than me, they look better than me, but ultimately that has nothing to do with me. You know, my journey is my own. Me going to the gym, the weight that I'm lifting, you know what? I'm lifting more now than I ever have in my entire life. So I'm never, ever gonna care about how the next person looks unless it comes to competition. And even then, I can't control how that person looks. I can control how I look, and that's just how I view life as a whole. And my mindset has evolved to become this way after years of comparing myself, not feeling like I'm good enough, not feeling like my voice matters. And then when I just started to keep showing up and I gathered more experience across the board with everything, I realized, actually, I do this shit for real. And if someone looks better than me, fuck yeah, like that's amazing for them, but it doesn't take away from me. And one of those negative deterrents to not showing up to the gym is comparing yourself to everyone else. Oh, I'm bench pressing, I'm only lifting up the bar, and this dude next to me is benching 225. Good for him. That has nothing to do with you. Just to give you guys some insight here, like I'm a little bit strong. I can bench 225, let's just say that. I've never looked at someone who doesn't bench 225 and thought, you punk, you suck, you don't even do this for real, you suck, bro. I've never thought that. So a lot of that outside pressure that we put on ourselves, especially when we first get started, thinking, oh, I'm not strong enough, or people are judging me, or XYZ, whatever the case may be, it's genuinely paranoia. And I understand the experience and I get it, but I promise you, unless someone's being a straight up asshole, which they do exist, I'll not say that they don't exist, it has nothing to do with you. And part of that mental dialogue when you're in the gym is where that self-talk can really use some sprucing up for the most of us. Favorite exercise of all time, and an exercise that I literally get anxiety thinking about, is leg extension. My quad focused leg day is Sunday, and when it comes to be around Thursday, Friday, I'm like, oh fuck, it's about to be quad day, bro. And then I just start start thinking about leg extensions and I start thinking about leg press. And I've experienced a lot of pain in my life. I would say that a 25 rep set on leg extensions is one of the most painful things that someone can endure. Honestly, the way that I used to talk to myself to get through that set, I would be like, don't be a little bitch, make it happen. Don't be soft, don't be weak. And instead it's been like, Devin, there's one more. Devin, there's one more. Dig deep, you're stronger than you think you are, right? And that is through and through the change that I've really fought to make within myself. Because like I said, when I first started with everything that I was doing with my food intake, with my training, with never giving myself a day off, with overworking myself across the board with everything, I realized that I am strong and I can make myself stronger by believing in myself. I'm not gonna make myself stronger by thinking I'm a piece of shit or that I'm weak or that I'm a loser. That can get you going, but it's not going to sustain you. I've been coaching and I've been in this space of fitness, especially for the trans community for a long time, and I'll see a lot of people come and go, and I wish that they had put less pressure on themselves, and I wish that they had leaned into community a little bit more and just enjoyed the process a little bit more, right? If you're just getting into this and you want gains, progress, you're gonna be like that firework, whereas somebody else will be a little bit less intense and a little bit overboard with it, and they'll be like a candle and they're just still burning. If you do not yet follow me on Instagram, we're pushing for 40K, definitely check it out. It's at DVNSPRs, but that's also gonna be linked down below. And like I always say, Devin loves you, Devin's a Don, and Devin is out of here, boy.